transfer for your home and refiles as the new owner. Then he can take out loans on your home or sell it. Typical identity theft services don't cover you, and neither does homeowners insurance. Home Title Lock does. Home Title Lock puts a barrier around your home's title. The instant they detect anyone tampering with your home's title, they help shut it down and help get your home back in your name. Go to HometitleLock.com and read the testimonials. Then register your address to see if you're already a victim and don't even know it. And when you protect your home, tell them Mark Levin sent you, and you'll get 30 free days of protection. HometitleLock.com. That's HometitleLock.com.
A severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for portions of the Central and Southern Valley as well as northwestern Minnesota until 10 o'clock. Then it's possible to see a secondary watch being issued after that. We will see a potential for strong and severe thunderstorms until 1 a.m. tonight, with the main concern being damaging wind and hail, although an isolated tornado could be possible. Windy conditions follow on Tuesday, a couple isolated showers possible with highs near 80. From the SkyWatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Download the app, sign up, and say bye-bye, bugs. Tommy's Express Car Wash is that easy. Tommy's offers a cleaner car wash and an overall better experience. Wash your car as often as needed. And the best part, after 3 washes, it pays for itself, and you can use it at all 3 other FM locations. Download the app, pre-buy, and skip the line. Or stop by one of their 3 locally owned Tommy's Express Car Wash locations. Tommy's Express Car Wash. Love your ride.
Welcome to Soybean Minute, your source for timely soybean news.
I'm North Dakota Soybean Council Director Mike Slosher of Edgeley. The North Dakota Soybean Council reminds soybean farmers to use soy biodiesel to pump up your bottom line. Biodiesel is high-quality, clean-burning, renewable fuel produced from domestic resources like soybeans. Biodiesel blends up to 20% can be used in any diesel engine. Biodiesel can offer a number of performance benefits to your diesel engine, including improved fuel lubricity, prevention of premature wear and tear, protection against fuel injector and injection pump failure, less equipment downtime, lower maintenance costs, and most importantly, the biodiesel industry contributes $1 or more to the value of a bushel of soybeans. Farmers are encouraged to ask for and use soy biodiesel in diesel equipment. To learn more about biodiesel and North Dakota Soybean Council's biodiesel rebate for farmers, visit ndsoybean.org. They're your soybeans, put them to work for you.
This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council and the Soybean Checkoff.
Enjoy time with family and friends with help from Menards. The 23-inch steel fire pit from Backyard Creations is perfect for when you want to spend those beautiful summer nights around a campfire. It's portable, and the steel mesh cover helps keep sparks contained. Pick one up for only $29.99 after 11% rebate. Good through June 26th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, I'm sure you've heard the big news. Greta is back, and she's on Newsmax. I watch Newsmax all the time. Greta's taking on big business, big Washington, and big media at 5 p.m. Central every week.
Good evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, alongside with Justin Storm with a severe weather update. We've got a cool front that's kind of hanging right through the FM area, stretching from around Twin Valley, Minnesota, through about Argusville, stretching down towards Castleton and Enderlin. Line of nasty storms now developing out towards Enderlin and Fingal areas. That's all moving to the east-northeast at about 35 miles an hour. Currently, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. It goes until 6 o'clock here for northern Ransom, southwestern Cass, and southern Barnes County. Some of the areas in the path of this, Valley City, again, golf ball size hail, damaging winds are going to be the main threat with this. So Valley City, Enderlin, Tower City, Buffalo, you're all in the path of this storm. If you're on Interstate 94 in North Dakota, mile markers 275 to 320. Expect the possibility of some damaging winds. We could have wind gusts in excess of 65 miles an hour. Again, that's moving to the northeast at about 35 miles an hour. And again, we're keeping a close eye on these, how they'll exactly affect the FM area. And we've got look like that one's out just to the west of Fingal, Justin, starting to make more of a right turn. And that's usually the sign of increasing severity with these storms as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. And those storms are again working their way towards the FM metro. They're still kind of affecting Valley City and then into Enderlin, like Dina just mentioned. And it does look like they are posing a good chance for some hail. Those storms are being warned for up to golf ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see some gusts in there, likely higher than that. In addition to that, we are seeing a few severe thunderstorms up in the northwestern portion of Minnesota, a bit outside of our listening area, but some pretty nasty weather up there as well around the Thief River Falls area, heading towards Bemidji and Boston, as well as into the Baudette area towards Lake of the Woods. So a few thunderstorms near Fargo right now. Those are not warned for anything. The main one that we're keeping an eye on is over by Fingal and Valley City. Again, Dean had mentioned that storm is working its way to the north-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And that should be able to get to the city, or at least within the vicinity of the city, within about the next hour or so is when that'll get closer to Fargo.
Right. And there's another kind of cluster of storms south of that, stretching from around Verona down towards Fullerton. That's moving to the northeast as well. So this whole kind of clustered line, if you will, right along a cool front and an outflow boundary. So any of these storms could just pop up and turn severe within a 15-minute window. So between now and about 6:30, I'd say, maybe 7 at the latest, these storms will be pushing east and northeast towards the valley. So we will see storms, how they hold together in terms of severity. They definitely, the main threat is going to be damaging winds and the potential for some large hail as well through about 6:30. For much of the valley. So again, for now, a severe thunderstorm warning continues in effect till 6 o'clock for areas just to the west of the FM area. We are getting some reports of hail. Well, most of the hail reports have been coming out of that cluster that's been moving through the northwestern part of Minnesota, but keeping a close eye on those out to our west. And again, I don't know if on radar there, Justin, just to the west of Fingal, looks like there's a little rotation possible on radar as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing that little cluster of rotation as well. I'm seeing a few photos coming in on Twitter of a storm that's just west of Enderlin. And it does look like there is a lowering in the base of that cloud. So there will be potential for tornadoes to develop. I wouldn't say there would be numerous, but the possibility of an isolated tornado can't be ruled out with these storms that are heading towards our way right now. Again, that storm is just coming into the Fingal area. It does look like there is a decent hail shaft, or at least the potential for a decent hail shaft in there. That'll be just south of Cuba, heading towards Fingal as well. And that storm again is warned for hail that could be up to golf ball sized in diameter. So that's about 1 3/4 inches is how big that hailstone would be if it's able to reach that full size.
And we're this is just we're going to have 2 rounds of severe weather tonight, or at least potential. Round 1 right now, just out to our west, moving towards the valley, towards the FM area. This will be northeast of us by 7, it looks like. And then we'll see a break, it looks like, for a couple of hours. And then I think we'll see another band. And that second one looks to be mainly a damaging wind threat. And that comes after 10 o'clock tonight, probably 10 o'clock till midnight, maybe 1 at the latest. And as that, it'll all depend on what this first round of storms does. Does it scrub out the atmosphere and really weaken that second round of storms coming through? We'll have to wait and see exactly how this pushes that front through here and how much instability is left behind it. But right now, some very strong storms on radar just to the west of Fingal. This will be moving into your area here within the next 10 minutes with the damaging wind threat and the possibility of some large hail. Areas around Alice, very strong. That's an individual cell that's going to merge with that line coming out of just west of Fingal up towards Tower City. Also a pretty strong independent cell there right outside of Castleton. There's one between Davenport and Durbin. Also one just north of the FM area towards Argusville. We're getting a line of storms trying to develop just to the north of the FM area, stretching out towards the Davenport area, towards Leonard. That's right along that front, right along that cold front. And it'll be curious to see exactly, again, these storms, it's in a very unstable environment. So these storms could easily turn severe within a matter of minutes once they start to pop up. I'm looking out the window to our west from the studios here, and we're looking pretty dark. So I think these storms are really starting to ramp up in intensity right along that front. Just tons of instability, which is what you need for these storms to turn severe. And that storm now affecting the Fingal area, and just to the north of the Fingal area, with extremely heavy rainfall, possibility of some large damaging hail as well.
Yeah, definitely. And one way that you can kind of gauge on these storms, if you're looking at one of these smaller cells that are just north of the Fargo area, say between Gardner and Argosville, as well as over to the north of Felton and Wheatland, Castleton, you can take a look at the tops of those clouds. If it looks like they're rapidly shooting upwards, that is a very clear signal that is a rapidly intensifying storm, and would be a sign that it could be going severe soon, just due to how much instability is available in the environment. And when we say that, that's the amount of energy that these storms have to develop within. So there's plenty of energy for these storms to feed off of. It's just, are they able to tap in on it? And it looks like they are trying to, just struggling a little bit just to the north of the FM metro. But we'll keep a very close eye on those. But our main concern right now is just west of Fargo. That's starting to enter into Cass County, exiting Valley City and affecting Fingal, Nome, Catherine as well. Possibility that there could be an isolated tornado that could develop inside the storm. No message or warning on that right now, but it could be a possibility as these storms continue to work into an area of more energy, which would be closer you get to the FM metro. If you do have any reports, you want to send us damage reports, what you're seeing, anything out there, you can give us a call at the SkyWatch hotline, 701-271-1100. Again, that's 701-271-1100. We'd love to hear what you guys are seeing out there. You have any hail reports, any trees down, power outages, anything that just looks goofy, out of the ordinary, give us a call. Let us know. Again, 701-271-1100.
Yeah, and I'd be interested to hear if there's any truckers over the road, people out between Valley City and Tower City right now. That line crossing 94 right now. It doesn't look good. I mean, it looks like that's a big wind event opposed to hail between Valley City and Tower City. So if you're on 94 right now between Tower City and Valley City, you might want to pull over and kind of ride this out for about the next half hour. But just south of the interstate towards Fingal, it looks like that's there's a cell right over the Alice area, and it looks like that's it's starting to merge in with that cell right around the Fingal area, and it's got Tower City right in its crosshairs. So if you're listening from Tower City, expect some damaging winds, and again, the possibility of some very large hail as well. There's another individual cell just outside of the Castleton area, another one towards Durban, Leonard, and just north of the FM area, Highland Park, stretching up into areas around Twin Valley, Minnesota. So again, these storms now starting to rapidly develop, and again, there's another cluster of storms down south towards Fort Ransom, stretching towards Oaks area. It's actually moving just east of the Oaks area right now, and this whole line of storms moving kind of the east northeast at about 35 as a cool front kind of draped almost directly over the FM area right now and stretching southwestward towards about the Leonard area, and that's where these storms are popping and firing up right now.
Yeah, definitely. That storm that we were talking about, that's just exiting Oaks now, heading towards Gwinner, and then Elliott as well. Looks like a very decent little storm right there. A couple of hail shafts, one heading towards Fort Ranson, that other one kind of going through open country right now between Elliott and Gwinner. In the next about probably 10 to 15 minutes, we'll see how that continues to develop. Not warned down in the Gwinner area or Elliott, but the storm just to the north now really looks like it's starting to gain some intensity. As Dean had mentioned, that storm that was trying to get pulled in right around Alice and Fingal, that storm system just getting ingested in the inflow of that main storm. So we'll see how that affects it, but there definitely could be the possibility of a isolated tornado in there near the Fingal area. I don't know, Dean, if you're able to see that rotation start to form, and it definitely looks like there's some couplet of rotation within that storm, and that does coincide with a few images that we have received of a lowering in that cloud or a wall cloud, and that would be where you'd be looking for tornadoes to develop. And with the rotation and the the images of that wall cloud, definitely a possibility that there could be a tornado trying to form, or at least maybe a funnel somewhere in the area around the Fingal area. Not necessarily that is the case, or if it would even reach the ground, but something to be concerned about if you're around Fingal, or where would that be heading next? Up towards Buffalo and Alice over the next about 5 to 15 minutes.
And that storm down by Oaks, just getting a message from the National Weather Service. They've got nothing severe with that yet, but they are seeing nickel-size hail with that, and winds about 40 miles an hour. So one of those storms you want to put your car in the garage if you can. But yeah, really worried about that cell. Now we're really starting to see. Now I'm seeing that cell just south of Alice, starting to show a lot of rotation with that. So although no warning has been issued with that in terms of tornadic activity, if you're in the town of Alice, probably want to take cover immediately. We're starting to see strong area of rotation. As I said, that's that one part of the cell that's getting ingested into the other main cell out around the Fingal area. So be curious to see if you have any reports. Let us know what's going on, especially Alice, Fingal area, Tower City. Give us a call, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. Let us know if you have any damage reports out that way as well. But yeah, there's just uptick in rotation with that cell just south of Alice. So although there's no tornado warning issue with that yet, we're seeing a lot of rotation on radar here. So you might want to take cover there.
Yep, and I have a buddy who's out. I believe he is on that storm. Skywarn meteorologist Ben Remington is a buddy of mine. I sent him a couple of messages to see if he'd be able to call in. I haven't gotten back from him, but I'm sure once he gets to wherever it is that he's maneuvering to, that he would be willing to give us a call to let us know what he's seeing. And if you want to do the same thing, again, like Dean mentioned, give us a call, 701-271-1100. You're our eyes and ears out on these storms. We can see them from above and from radar, but it's a lot beneficial to be able to see exactly what these storms are doing up close. Or if you just have damage reports, you got some hail, your backyard patio kind of got smashed up from some hailstones, trees are down, let us know. Give us a phone call. We can relay that information to the National Weather Service. It helps them warn future storms as they continue to develop. And still watching those few storms just to the north of the FM metro. It does look like those storms are tapping into that instability, starting to get a bit on the more stronger side by Georgetown, Highland Park, just north of Felton, again, Wheatland and Castleton area, and another storm by Leonard. Wouldn't be surprised if another one of these storms kind of gets eaten up by that bigger storm by Fingal right now, and Alice, where that couplet of rotation was being seen on radar. Again, if you're in the Alice area or even in Fingal, you might want to take cover in case there is a tornado that is trying to form or has formed, but no reports so far on that storm of anything tornadic with it.
Right. And another strong cell south of Fort Ransom there as well. Possible hail signature with that. And then those storms further south from there. But right now, the main part of this is out around the Fingal area towards Alice, where you're under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock. But again, I wouldn't be surprised to see something drop out of that storm just south of Alice, as you were saying, and then Fingal getting hit extremely hard with very heavy rain, and it looks like the possibility of some larger hail with that as well. And again, these storms continue to move to the northeast at about 35 miles an hour. And it looks like we just had new severe thunderstorm warning just issued now. This just coming across from the National Weather Service for Ransom and Sargent County until 6:45. And what we're looking at there is that cell south of Valley City. It's moving east now at 30 miles an hour. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail are a good possibility with that. Expected around the Gwinner area by around 6:05. Other areas include Milner and McLeod in the path of that storm as well. So again, nothing. I'm surprised there hasn't been anything for the Alice area. I'm surprised they haven't upgraded that. But again, we'll kind of keep an eye on radar here as well and keep you up to date on that.
Yeah, definitely. And to recap across our area, we are in a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock tonight. And then it will be possible that there could be an additional watch issued. But right now it's set to expire at 10 p.m. The main concern with these storms, a couple of tornadoes could be possible. Hail up to tennis ball size. So that's just over 2 inches in diameter. And also wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour will be likely with some of these storms. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some wind gusts to 70, 80 miles an hour. With that storm that's over Fingal right now, heading towards Alice, just about to consume the town as the main core of that storm is just about to pass overhead. It's just a few miles to the east and tracking, or a few miles to the west and tracking east again, about 30, 35 miles per hour. So that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for another 10 minutes. And it's likely we'll see that being pushed more into Cass County. The towns that will be in the area of concern and the direction the storm is moving next will be Castleton, Everest, Durbin, Mapleton, Amenia, and then eventually into West Fargo and Fargo, Highland Park, and Argusville. That will probably be another hour from now, but there are a few storms ahead of it that we're watching that are trying to quickly develop. One of those just north of Fargo, probably starting to notice some flashes of lightning coming out of that one, some heavy downpour between Georgetown and Highland Park, and that's heading up towards Felton. And then again, those few storms that are over Castleton, Mapleton, Everest, and Durbin, Leonard, those storms also trying to quickly develop. So we're keeping a very close eye on those storms as well.
And we do have a caller on the line. Roger is calling. And Roger, can you tell us where you're at and what are you seeing?
Well, I'm at mile marker 125 headed southbound on I-29, and I'm right underneath a cell. It's looks like there's a little bit of a rotation going on, not severe, but it's the clouds are moving around quite a bit.
Okay. All right. And where at again? Mile marker
120. Let's see. I'm right underneath the wall cloud right now. It's 160 or 123. Excuse me, 123 Reynolds.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. Roger, thank you. Thank you for the update. We appreciate that. And yeah,
Yep.
your eyes and ears out there. If you're on the interstate and you see stuff that just doesn't look right, looks out of the ordinary, let us know. Severe thunderstorm warning, a new one now just issued, and this will include the FM area here for north central Ransom County, Cass County, and also southeastern Barnes County until 6:45. Again, they're keying in on that system right around the Alice area. Moving east now at 45. Ping pong size hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts approaching the area there. Some of the towns in the path of this include Buffalo by around 6 o'clock. We're looking at Wheatland by around 6:10, and then we're looking at in and around the FM area probably between 6:30 and 6:45, probably closer to 6:45, maybe a little sooner than that. That does include areas on 94 on the North Dakota side between mile markers 299 and 351, and in between on 29 between mile markers 53 and 84. Again, severe thunderstorm warning, which now does include the FM area here until 6:45. That line of storms out around the Alice area. If you're listening from out around Alice, Fingal, maybe Tower City, shoot us a call. Let us know what you're seeing. 701-271-1100. That's 271-1100. This is looking pretty impressive on radar. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is. And getting a couple of reports, and these look like they came in a little over an hour ago. This is Mallory in Polk County, Minnesota. Mesonet reported a 91 mile per hour wind gust. Highway signs damaged and broken off their support. And again, that severe thunderstorm warning that we were mentioning that is now including the Fargo area, West Fargo, Mapleton, Castleton, Wheatland, Amenia, Everest, and Durbin. Also the possibility for a tornado being warned on that storm. Not a tornado warning, but possibility that a tornado could form in that storm.
Yeah.
It looks like another report, 62 mile per hour wind gust in Fingal. And that's heading into Cass County again, and 1.5 inch sized hail.
All right. And I believe James is taking I think we have another caller in with with a report, but we'll kind of go over what we've got going on right now. So a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued until 6:45. This does include the FM area for northern Ransom County, Cass County here, and also southeastern Barnes County till 6:45. Ping pong size hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible. And again, that's with that cell just out to the west. We're getting new development now around the Mapleton, between Mapleton and Castleton area as well. And I believe, do we have a caller on the line there, James? And what's his name, James? Kevin. Kevin, hey, welcome to the Flag here and our severe weather coverage. Can you tell us where you're at and what are you looking at?
I'm actually currently in Grand Forks, north of you guys, and I was looking at the map from the Weather Channel. That cell that you're talking about that's going, you said it's going to go northeast. It looks like it's all just part of one. I'm part of one giant system, and we're going to get hammered all the way through for the next couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming south out of Grand Forks, I would, you'll probably make it about halfway to, if you're coming to the FM area before the system. It's supposed to be over the 29 corridor here within the next half hour, it looks like. And again, just looking at new development here, Justin, between Mapleton down south towards Durban, as the system continues to press east-northeast at about 35. So again, we're going to be looking at another individual cell down around the Fort Ransom area. That looks like a big wind threat there. But the strongest part of this looks now to be stretching between Tower City and down through the Alice area. We're looking at very strong storms right along the 94 corridor between Tower City and about, let's say, 30 miles to the east, looking really nasty with the possibility of some damaging winds. And also the possibility, again, we haven't had any hail reports, but ping pong size hail. And Justin, you said there's still seeing some rotation as that cell that was down towards Alice kind of gets ingested into this main the main complex. And that's what we're looking at, the possibility of rotation. You said you had a buddy out there storm chasing. Any word back from him or anything on Twitter from him?
No, I haven't seen anything. He has not messaged me back yet. I'm sure he's probably driving somewhere along the side of this storm. I'm trying to get in contact with him, but nothing quite yet. I haven't seen anything posted from him in a little bit either, but I'm sure he'll be reaching out here shortly. He just gave me an update about a half hour ago that said there was a nasty storm heading towards Fargo, so
okay,
you'll likely be checking in a bit.
Gotcha. And then we're getting reports from the National Weather Service chat of crazy hail near Fingal. Doesn't give a size on it, but that makes sense seeing the strength of that storm. Also getting wind gusts. I think you mentioned it, over 60 miles an hour outside of the Fingal area as well. So yeah, damaging winds, hail, the main threat with this. But again, we were seeing some pretty strong rotation down around the Alice area as well. But we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on this. We're gonna stay on the air with you here, and if you're wondering, what we have going on, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. This does include the FM area. There's a strong line of storms between Tower City down towards Alice, moving to the east at about 45 miles an hour. So generally almost right along the 94 corridor. So north central Ransom, Cass, southeastern Barnes County, severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45. So that goes on for about another 45 minutes here. Ping pong size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds are expected to encompass this storm. Areas around Buffalo, Wheatland, between 6 o'clock and 6:10 expected to get hit by this. Castleton, Prosper, Mapleton, you're on the path of this. If you're traveling on 94 on the North Dakota side, mile markers 299 to about 351 expected to get some damaging winds and large hail. So again, severe thunderstorm warning, which does include the FM area until 6:45. I don't think these things are going to reach the valley here until about 6:30. It looks like right now.
Yeah, they're slowly trucking our way, but they'll get here soon enough. It gives you a little bit of time to prep if you have any patio furniture in the backyard, say glass top tables or anything that may not do so well with a 1 or 2 inch size hailstone. You got a little bit of time to put that away, although definitely going to be able to see or at least hear some of the lightning around the area. But right now you do have a little bit of time. Again, the leading edge of those storms over by Mapleton right now, and that's not the main storm. That's just one ahead of it. That's say about 10 miles west of West Fargo, 13 miles west of Fargo, and about 17 miles west of Dilworth. So you got about 10 minutes or so as these storms work their way more eastward at about 35 miles per hour. And to our listeners up in the Northern Valley, we were got a couple of reports and a call in up from Grand Forks. There is a little storm up there, a couple of them actually, but nothing severe with those storms at this moment. Just some heavy rain, maybe be able to sneak out a little small pea-sized hail out of a couple of those storms. You're in a lull right now in Grand Forks. You will see another storm exiting from Thompson and over by Amaretto. Those will be coming into the city in about 10 minutes as well. So a little break, and then there will be a third storm behind that. But right now, nothing severe in the Grand Forks area. It's all limited to the Southern Valley and primarily between Tower City and Alice, and then Fargo is where that current largest storm is located. Warned for another 45 minutes, wind gust over 60 miles per hour, ping pong ball-sized hail, and possibility of a tornado being in those storms as well. And just taking a look at some of the radar returns coming in on rotation, still a couple of pockets of some rotation along with that storm from Buffalo to Alice. And that mainly looks to be about right between Buffalo and Alice right now, heading its way towards Wheatland. Not overly impressive at the moment, but some rotation nonetheless associated with it.
Right. And I'll tell you, it's going to be a close call here in the FM area. I think that the heaviest and worst part is going to be just to our west, but I think we're going to get clipped by this here in the FM area for sure. But it'll be close. I mean, there's areas just to the east of the FM area that could get sideswiped or missed entirely, at least with this first round. But again, I wouldn't bank on that. I'm really worried about that storm south of Alice because that's, again, making more of a right turn, and that would be the cell that we have to watch to kind of impact our area as well. Castleton getting hit right now real hard with severe storms. And again, areas out around, if you're just joining us, around Fingal, got hit with some very heavy hail and some strong winds as well. Tower City getting hit right now pretty hard. And again, areas just outside of Alice. Earlier, some very strong rotation that is pushed off now to the east of Alice. That is going to be moving east-northeast towards, looks like Durban, toward Mapleton. So again, man, this is going to be a close call here for the FM area. It's going to be, if we can escape this, we're lucky. We're going to be lucky. We need the rain. It's been pretty dry lately, but don't need the hail and damaging winds with that.
No, definitely don't want the hail unless you got insurance and a roof that needs to be redone. Then maybe you might be hoping for a little hail, but like Dean said, it's going to be close. If it takes another little right turn, which would mean generally that it is strengthening, then it'll likely come in at a straight path towards Fargo. But right now it does look like we'll just get clipped with the southern portion of that storm. But when I say clipped by the southern portion, it's still a healthy storm down there, and there still could be some hail by the time it gets to the Fargo area. And so we're just watching it very closely. And those storms, again, continuing to work their way east, northeast at 35 miles per hour, located between Buffalo and Alice is the heart of that storm. One ahead of it over Everest and Castleton right now as well.
Yeah, just got a word from National Weather Service that storm just outside of the Alice area. And again, seeing the same thing on radar here. It's continuing to uptick in strength and expected to remain severe as it moves into Fargo by 6:30. It has had a history of wall cloud and rotation with that. So again, we'll be keeping a close eye on that, and we'll stay on here with you until these storms pass to make sure everything is okay. But yeah, looking at that on radar, there's still some pretty strong rotation just to the east of the Alice area. This will be approaching Everest here within the next 15 minutes, and then continuing east-northeast, I think impacting West Fargo up towards Harwood area. And again, if you're east of the river, maybe by even 10, 20 miles, you might not see anything out of this. This is mainly along the valley and westward that we're going to see the worst of this. And if you're just joining us, a severe thunderstorm warning does continue in effect until 6:45. This does include the FM area. line of storms, and they are nasty looking on radar here, and they have had the history of producing some hail out around the Fingal area. Looks like hail and damaging winds as it pressed through Alice. And again, they continue to move to the east, generally at about 45 miles an hour, east and northeast. But the whole line itself moving east-northeast about 45 miles an hour. And again, continuing its strength and expected in and around the FM area here by between about 6:30 and 6:45.
And if you have any reports, again, that main part of the storm has just gone over Alice. So you're just getting in on some lightning, some windy conditions, and probably some moderate rainfall. But if you have any damage reports, hail reports, anything, give us a call, 701-271-1100. Love to hear what's going on. If you're driving on I-94 and you're heading out towards Tower City and you're just south of Buffalo, very likely getting in on some extremely heavy rain and probably likely some hail. Let us know what's going on over there so that way we can relay some of this information on to the National Weather Service. And you are listening to our severe weather coverage here on AM 1100, The Flag, and FM 92.3, Dilworth, Fargo, Moorhead, and 970 AM 93.1 FM, WDAY, Fargo.
And I believe we have a caller on the line. Is that right, James?
Yeah, yep. We have Tyler on County Road 5 right now, and we can kick it over to him.
Yeah, Tyler, thanks for joining us. What are you seeing?
Extremely torrential downpour of rain. There's some hail, I think, in it. The wind was blowing real bad right before the rain came, and it was like pelting rock. I think it was before the hail started.
And where are you at again?
Now I'm kind of by Chaffee, North Dakota.
Okay. And how big would you estimate the hail is?
It was hard. Like, I couldn't even see the road in front of me. I was just driving on the rumble strip.
Oh, wow.
Like, I've never seen it rain that hard ever.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the update. That's much appreciated. Absolutely. And I could see that on radar. It's extremely heavy rainfall there. And the core of that now stretching from about Buffalo to just to the east of Alice. Also another heavy core out around the Castleton area as well. All these storms moving northeast at about 45 miles an hour. If they continue their current track, this would put it, just outside of the downtown FM area, affecting areas really hard between about Mapleton and West Fargo. So again, there might be areas east of the river towards Dilworth that don't even see a thing from this, but we'll see how these storms propagate here over the next hour, but they should be through the area by around 7 or so. Do we have another caller, James?
Yeah, we have David. He actually just drove through that Alice area that you guys were talking about.
All right, David. Hey, thanks for calling in. And what did you experience as you drove through that?
Hey, yeah, Bet, out here on the interstate, going about 10, 15 miles an hour with the flashers on. Pretty heavy rain, good wind, and some pea-sized hail was coming down too. And so I would say half the vehicles were pulled way over on the right-hand side of the shoulder.
Okay, and you said you're right on 94 there, right?
Yeah, as you guys were talking, you were kind of spot on watching the radar. I was between Alice and Tower City. I'm now just about 5 miles west of Tower City, and it's clear blue sky on the western side here.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's the back end of that storm. And are you coming eastward or are you going westward? You said you're going.
No, I'm headed west towards Bismarck.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pulling a John boat, and boy, I was worried that my boat seats might fly right out of the boat. I'm glad. You know what? And I know I don't have the plug in the boat, but if I had the plug in the boat, my gosh, I'd have 5 walleyes swimming around that boat right now.
Well, thanks so much for the update. We do appreciate it. And you know what? You guys are our eyes and ears out there, and then we can pass these this information along to the Weather Service as well. But yeah, as you were saying, yeah, just west of Tower City, things starting to kind of clear up. But right now, between Buffalo, just east of Alice, this is going to be approaching the Everest area. Castleton getting hit pretty hard right now. And again, this is going to nick areas around the FM area. Our storm is going to come from a complex down towards the Enderlin area, and those don't look to be as potent. But again, they're moving into a very unstable air mass. So I think we're under the gun here in the FM area till about 7. But the worst of this looks to be out around the Everest area towards Mapleton, clipping West Fargo, and points northward of there, maybe up towards Harwood. Probably going to see the worst of this, but a line of very formidable storms just off to our west and southwest of the FM area. And again, these have had the history of damaging winds and of large hail as well. Just getting a report from just outside of Leonard, wind gusts about 60 miles an hour. And what else are we getting here? This one was from earlier at Key West in Polk County, Minnesota. Power lines blown down, crop damage from wind-driven hail, unfortunately. That's not great news there. And again, that was in Polk County, Minnesota, from that cluster of storms from earlier. But again, if you're just joining us, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect here until 6:45. This does include the FM area. It includes north central Ransom, Cass County, southeastern Barnes County until 6:45. Again, Valley City, you're in the path of this, obviously. Buffalo, already raked through the Alice area. Wheatland in the path of this. And if you're on Interstate 94, between mile markers 299 and 351, you're right in the path of this as well. And again, these are all moving to the east and northeast at about 45 miles an hour. Again, these are going to clip the FM area. I think the best shot of severe weather is going to be from about Castleton up through about Argusville. It looks like you're really in the line of the worst part of this. But we'll be keeping an eye on that second batch of storms down towards the Enderlin area. Those will be the ones, and we'll see how much strength they can maintain as they move northeast.
Yeah, and that storm that we have been talking about over Alice and Buffalo towards Wheatland, that hail core at least looks like it's still holding together. And we're going to head over to the line or the phone lines now. And if you want to call, give us a report. Give us a phone call 701-271-1100. We're going to bring on SkyWatch meteorologist Benjamin Remington. Ben, welcome to the live coverage. What do you got going on out there? Where are you located?
Well, we were just by Castleton, and that storm, I can tell you one thing, it looks pretty mean. It's got those bright greens in it, which are usually indicative of some pretty big hail. We could see visually it has some really strong winds, especially in the south end of it as well. A lot of dust getting lofted really, really high up into the air. And it's chugging into Castleton right about now. We're trying to stay out ahead of it, and we don't really have a view of it right now. But the last we saw of it, it looked pretty mean. No tornadic signatures or really signals on it yet, though. So I think the tornadoes should stay up in the clouds, at least for right now, but just about everything else it has in large quantities, Justin.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. And you were saying that it doesn't look too tornadic at the moment. I'm assuming you don't see any lowerings out there. I know that earlier with this storm, when it was further to the west, we were getting a few reports of some rotating bases with that storm. Is that no longer the case?
There is some scud hanging down. So there's some sort of like goofy little clouds hanging under the bottom of it, but there's no organized wall clouds or anything like that at the moment. So at least at the moment, doesn't look too tornadic, and it's also going through a cell merger right now. And I'm thinking after that happens, we could see that tornado potential ramp up. But as for right now, we didn't see anything indicative of tornadoes happening anytime soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ben. And if anything changes, give us a call back. So thank you very much. Stay safe out there. All right.
Will do. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us, Ben. Appreciate it. Those are our eyes and ears out there as well. And like you said, there is merging of the cells, and that's where. So we have that main batch that was coming out of Alice, and we have these individual cells that are developing in the warm and unstable air mass out ahead of that cold front, and these cells are moving directly from south to north, merging with that line coming in from the west. And that's usually as they merge, that's when you're going to get your best shot at rotation and the possibility of tornadic activity. So keeping a close eye on these storms right now. And if you're just joining us and you're wondering what's going on, you're looking out to the west, you're looking out to the north, and you're seeing these storms moving in. There's a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45. This does include the FM area, as line of storms, which has had the history of producing some pretty decent sized hail in Alice, from what we understand from some reports. And this is pounding areas around Wheatland right now. If you're on 94, let's say between about Castleton and Everest going out towards the Wheatland area, you're getting hammered right now. Once you get east of Buffalo or west of Buffalo, and you're starting to see things improve. And west of Tower City, things improving quite a bit as well. All right, we're just getting a message here from the National Weather Service, the latest update on the warning. As the storm approaches West Fargo, it's showing a segment surging ahead of the main storm, which is increasing the wind threat to about 70 miles an hour and possibility of about an inch quarter diameter size hail. So if you're in the West Fargo area, good idea, probably get the vehicles in the garage for sure. And definitely get indoors as if you're doing anything outside right now. This storm approaching West Fargo and just outside of the Mapleton area as well, hitting right now Everest, Castleton, and Wheatland getting hit pretty hard by this as well. So again, these storms moving to the east-northeast at about 45 miles an hour. I'm sure if you're in the FM area and you're looking out there, as Justin's buddy who's storm chaser reported, a lot of scud, a lot of lowering of the clouds. Not untypical, and a lot of people will confuse that as a tornado when it's not. So if you see the rotation within it, that's a different story. And if you see rotation developing from the wall cloud, that's totally different from a scud cloud. And unless you're, if you're not versed in what to look for, you probably think, hey, that's a tornado. But when in actuality, it's not. But severe weather is approaching the FM area here, expected to hit the West Fargo area here within the next 15, 20 minutes, and then press its way into the valley as well.
Yeah, definitely. And just taking a look back up in the Northern Valley, Grand Forks, and just to the west of Thompson, heading over towards Fisher, starting to get back in on a few isolated storms up there. Nothing severe. Some moderate and heavy rain is likely, especially down by the Bigland area. And then you will see another break behind this cell before you kind of get into some more light to moderate rain. By the time it gets to the Grand Forks area, there's a few showers over by the Northwood Hatton area. Those might be able to produce some downpours, but right now it just looks like some moderate rain with a couple of isolated pockets of some heavy downpours over by Northwood. So you're basically up in the clear in the Grand Forks area at this moment. Main concern again being down in Cass County over heading towards Amenia, Castleton, Everest, and Durbin, the next towns that are going to get hit by the core of this storm. The main core is going to be found just to the northwest and on Wheatland, and then south of Wheatland towards Everest, a little bit towards the east up into Castleton. That's where that main torrential heavy downpours are located at. I'm sure there's some hail in there, as well as additionally that wind threat up to 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, and we're getting these storms, as you said, just pressing into the Durbin area. Those will be the ones that the ones a little north of that around Everest and Castleton, those will move north, it looks like, of the FM area. But watching that stuff down around the Durbin area, stretching just outside of Davenport, those will be the ones that affect the FM area here by 6:30, 6:45, it looks like. And again, a severe thunderstorm warning continues in effect here for the FM area and points westward out towards Wheatland, Castleton, Buffalo, stretching just outside of Alice here until 6:45. They'll probably extend that as the system moves to the east and northeast. All this activity should be out of our hair here by about 7 o'clock or so tonight, and then we'll see a break. We'll see it'll move off to the northeast into Lakes Country and northwestern Minnesota. Then we'll see a break here until about what'd you say, 9, 10 o'clock tonight, Justin, and then another line of storms expected to develop and move into the valley after 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, I would definitely hold that off till about 10 o'clock. And I'm just taking a look at some of our newer computer models that are suggesting what might end up playing out. And they're kind of downplaying it a little bit, I think, on these storms. There are a couple of healthy storms that look like they'll hit through the far southeastern portion of North Dakota, but the storms that look like they'll track around the FM metro and then into the central and northern valley, not quite looking as strong as what they did earlier. But again, we'll have to wait and see exactly how things look after this first wave of storms push out of our area to see how much energy is left over for those secondary storms to tap into. So again, we will hang on to the potential for severe weather up until about 1 a.m., maybe even as late as 2 a.m. over into the Lakes Country. So we'll be watching watching this all evening and all night just in case there is that second wave of severe weather. But right now, severe thunderstorm watch in effect for portions of the central and southern valley and northwestern Minnesota. That's going to include towns from Valley City to Wahpeton, Mayville to Fargo, Grand Forks to Detroit Lakes and then Wadena, as well as Crookston to Bemidji and Roseau. All of you included in that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. Possibility of an isolated tornado could be possible, with the other main, more likely concerns being damaging wind upwards of 80 miles per hour, and then large hail up to 2 inches or even slightly larger than that in diameter.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing much in the way of organized rotation. Possibly a little bit out towards just to the east of the Wheatland area, moving northeast at about 40 miles an hour. But other than that, this is transitioning. It looks like as these cells merge more into a kind of a wind threat as this moves into the valley.
Yeah, definitely going to be transitioning more into wind at this moment. Sure, there is still potential that these storms could reorganize in this environment. There's plenty of things coming together where they could reorganize, but at this moment, it definitely does look like it is turning more into wind. Even our hail signatures that we were seeing so evidently over between Buffalo and Alice, those are still kind of hanging together, but it looks much less, and those two spots are located directly over Castleton and Everest right now as that main core of the storm pushes overhead. That will be working its way towards Mapleton and then towards Brook Tree and West Fargo as we get clipped on that far southern edge. But we are still watching those cells south of Everest and Durban. These are over by Cobham and Sheldon. Another small little storm down there. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it behaves as it gets a little closer into our area, but that would be another storm behind this one that could affect our area over the next next hour.
Right. And again, if you're just joining us, we're live. This is Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki along with Justin Storm, giving you live coverage as severe weather continues to rake in from the west and really affecting areas earlier around the Fingal area. Alice reporting some hail and damage. No tornadic activity associated with this right now, but areas right now, if you're traveling on 94 right around the Castleton, Everest area, they are just getting hammered with extremely heavy rain. Looks like the possibility of some hail there. If you're going west on 94, you're in Mapleton. I'd pull over right now as you've got a wall of rain and possible hail and wind damage if you're moving westward on 94. If you are on 94 and you have any reports, storm reports, give us a call or anywhere. If you have any damage reports, storm reports, 701-271-1100. That's right into SkyWatch Weather Center. That's 701-271-1100. Let us know what you're seeing out there. But right now, the worst of this storm right now, Justin, appears to be between Castleton and Everest, stretching down towards Durban, moving again to the east, expecting to enter the FM area here, especially the West Fargo up towards maybe Highland Park area. Areas Dilworth and eastward, I don't know. You might escape with really not much at all, the way it looks right now.
It will definitely be close on that Dilworth and Stockwood area. You might just get clipped with a little bit of lightning and maybe some gusty wind and a little bit of some heavy, maybe not even heavy rain. It'll come very close to completely missing that Dilworth, the Stockwood area. But there is a storm behind this one that could affect portions south of Fargo and then over towards Stockwood. And right now, doesn't look like there's too much to worry about that storm at the moment. But again, we'll see how these storms develop. They like to go through these cycles or these phases. Think of them kind of like living things. They take a breath and they pulse up and they kind of get that big fresh breath of air. They get stronger and then they exhale and they kind of contract a little bit. They get a little weaker until they get their next breath of fresh air. So either these storms have weakened a tad bit or they're just kind of going through one of these up and down pulses. So we'll see if they're able to reorganize into more classical, strong thunderstorms. You could call them supercells or kind of whatever you want at this point. But we'll just wait and see if that's the case. But right now, it has definitely turned mostly into wind and heavy rain with frequent lightning.
Right, and we're getting more storm development. If you're in Lakes Country, let's say you're heading 94 down towards the Twin Cities. From Fergus Falls south towards Elbow Lake and Alex area, getting some very strong storms. Nothing severe yet, but they're rapidly developing. And again, they're in that environment that would actually strengthen some of these storms. So again, if you're traveling 94 into Lakes Country or southward towards Fergus, Elbow Lake, and Alex area, some strong storms down that way. Again, with the possibility of hail and some damaging winds there. But again, closer to home, we're looking at those storms that continue to press in from the west, really hitting areas around Everest and Castleton pretty hard right now, stretching down towards the Durban area. And again, these will be affecting areas here of West Fargo. And again, downtown Fargo towards Dilworth. Boy, we're just going to be right on the edge of this. I think we'll get something out of this, but the majority of this just to the north and west of the area as these storms continue to race east and a little bit northeast here at about 45 miles an hour. Checking, let's see, we had from Crete, North Dakota, earlier, about $50 size hail, about 550. So that's a while ago, but that was with those storms out to our west. And again, they'll continue to press towards the valley here, but it looks like from West Fargo northward and towards the Harwood area, you're going to get hit pretty hard with this. I think we'll just get clipped with this here in the FM area and points to the east.
Yeah, definitely. And plenty of lightning out there. If you're in Fargo looking west, I'm sure you can see it. You might even be able to hear it at this point. Lots of lightning popping up on radar right now as these storms are kind of transitioning into that mostly heavy rain and wind threat. So there is going to be that slight possibility that there could be some localized areas of flooding or standing water. Again, the soil has been fairly dry, so there should be enough room for a lot of this water to go somewhere. But you got to keep in mind, if it all comes at one time, it takes time for that soil to absorb the water. So you might run into some areas of some standing water out there. Generally, your normal places you would see it, underpasses, your lower lying areas. Just keep that in mind. Remember, don't drive through flooded waters or flooded roads. You don't know how deep the water is. And even in a small car, it only takes what would you say, Dean, 6 inches, maybe 8 inches of water to flood an engine.
Yep, that's it.
So that's a really big thing. I've seen a lot of people do that before, and I'll tell you what, you turn around, you save yourself a $1,500 car bill most of the time.
Yeah, and there's, like I said, there is a line of nasty storms just out to the west. And I guess we have Dan. Dan's on the line. He's on I-29 south of Argusville. Dan, thank you for calling in. What can you, boy, it looks nasty out around the Argusville area right now.
It's really started to rain hard.
Any hail?
Turning the windshield wipers all the way.
Any hail reports?
Yep. Not yet, just wind and rain.
Okay. And you've got a stronger batch of storms around the immediate area that's moving towards where you're at right now. So are you going south or are you going north on 29 there?
South. Yeah, I'm headed to Fargo.
Yeah, so you're probably going to run right into this by the time you get towards the Harwood area. You could get the heaviest part of this line coming through here. That's the way it looks right now. And that's right now out around the Everest area, stretching towards Durban, moving kind of to the east-northeast. So safe travels, and appreciate you calling in there, Dan.
Yep, have a good night.
All right, you too. Stay safe. And again, severe thunderstorm warning continues in effect for the FM area. Dan just called in from the Argusville area. Very, very heavy rainfall on 29. That stretches southward towards Brook Tree Park, Harwood getting hit right now. And this is all starting to fill in now. And this will affect the FM area here within the next 15, 20 minutes, it looks like. I'm not seeing a strong uptick in these storms. I guess that's good. The strongest part stretching towards Durban and just to the west of Mapleton. But as you're saying, these things kind of pulse up, pulse down. And I still think the heaviest part of this is going to be just to the west of the FM area. But we're going to see our own batch of storms coming through even downtown Fargo, it looks like, here within the next 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
the question of severity is a little up in the air right now, but all the ingredients are there. It's a very unstable air mass for sure. And again, these storms have had reports of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, and also the hail potential as well.
Yeah, and these storms again are warned for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Although they do look like they have ticked down just a bit in severity, that doesn't mean that these aren't some decent thunderstorms that are coming into the area with some gusty winds, some very heavy downpours, frequent lightning, even the possibility for some hail up to an inch in diameter now. So that does have, or that has dropped quite a bit from the 2 inches earlier when these storms were another 30 miles further to the west.
And they just extended that warning now into Becker, Clay, and Norman counties in Minnesota. So, and then Cass and Trail here on the other side of the river until 7:30. So they've extended that into areas east of here until 7:30. As we're seeing more development, that's why we're starting to see these individual cells develop a little more, and thus the reason expanding that eastward. The southern tail of that, I'm kind of questioning that areas down towards Sabin, over towards Stockwood. But again, I think the reason for the extension of that eastward is due to more development now, just outside of Walcott. Nothing strong or nothing severe, but just rapid development of thunderstorms. And I think that's the reason the Weather Service extended that further eastward, even though the heaviest of this still going to remain from a line of around Mapleton, just about the FM area. We'll be right on the southern end of the heaviest part of this, and then extending northward. So if you're coming into the FM area from 29, I would just, let's see, taking a look at radar here. Argusville getting hit real hard right now. I just pull over and hold this off for maybe a half hour. If you're coming in on 94, I expect to, you're clear going from about Fergus up through Barnesville and almost into Dilworth area, but that will be changing here quickly over the next half hour. Looks like a strong cell just north of Fergus out towards Carlisle, it looks like, and Elizabeth, and those are racing northeastward to affect areas just south of Pelican Rapids. So again, Lakes Country, you're going to get hit as these storms are moving in from 2 different directions. We've got storms on the warm side of the front moving in from the south and west, and the other storms kind of moving in generally from a westerly direction. So east of the river, most of these storms moving in from the south. But if you have any storm reports, or if you're on the interstate and you're seeing hail reports, let us know. We can pass that along to the National Weather Service. Our hotline here is 701-271-1100. That's 701-271-1100. And again, that severe thunderstorm warning for Cass County, this does include the FM area, has been extended now until 7:30 this evening. Damaging winds, 70 miles an hour. Main threat with that. Hail potential, maybe up to about an inch. But the main threat with this is going to be damaging winds, it looks like. And looking out the window here at the studios to our west, it's black. And you look east into out our windows into across the other side of the river, and we're seeing sunshine. So it's that's how tight of a gradient this line of storms is areas out to the west is really getting hit hard. But again, this whole complex moving to the east here at about 40 miles an hour. So if you have any vehicles here in the FM area, especially West Fargo, you might want to please move those into the garage. And another thing, and most newer cars will kind of detect this, but if you're traveling out there, make sure, even though it's still daylight, make sure those headlights are on. I mean, you're driving through, just driving rain. You can hardly see anything. And again, a lot of people will turn their hazards on. That's not a bad idea either until that intense rainfall passes. But yeah, some of the older cars, they don't have that capability as when it gets to a certain point, it gets too dark, then the lights automatically come on. So yeah, that's a good kind of reminder as well. And again, if you're traveling out there, 2994, you're seeing this, best idea, just pull over, let this thing ride out. It'll be moving through the valley and northeast and east of the valley here by 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just watching that southern edge of that town literally skirt by Fargo right now. The leading edge of the southern portion of that storm, which is really over Brooktree Park, Argusville, Mapleton, exiting Amenia, is, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a mile to the northwest of Fargo right now. So the line of rain is very close. And like we said, we thought a lot of this was going to go just to the north, and that is exactly what it looks like is going to happen. There's still a little tail just south of Mapleton that might be able to scratch the South Fargo and maybe down to Prairie Rose, but there is one more storm behind that, which is over Leonard right now. It does look like just some moderate rain with or heavy rain with some lightning right now. It doesn't look too severe. That is likely to go through the Horace area and Davenport down by Bryanwood, South Fargo, and then into the Dilworth area. So at least just south of town does look like we're going to get in on a little bit of rain.
Justin, here at the studios, and we're right at basically the intersection of 29 and 94, and winds have really ramped up here. We're just starting to, and we're getting like almost new development, almost developing directly overhead. We're getting the outflow as well from these thunderstorms out to the west, and that's really starting to increase the winds here at the studios. I look outside, and all of a sudden I'm seeing some of the debris construction just blowing around here. So again, South Fargo, you're starting to get hit now. North Fargo, you're going to get hit a lot harder than, as you said, down towards Prairie Rose, Frontier, Briarwood area. So I think areas, north or south of Briarwood, probably not going to get much in the way of severe weather, although we're watching potential more development out around the Walcott area. But you said that tail end down towards Leonard. Even that's going to be a close call, but we're starting to see new development now just into West Fargo and stretching out towards the Mapleton area as well. And Corey is driving south of town with a quick report. Corey, thanks for calling in. What are you seeing?
Well, the new overpass going up south of 52nd Avenue, all the styrofoam building blocks that they had placed are blowing across the interstate.
Oh
no.
Yeah, and that's just south of our studios here. So, and that's what I was saying. We're getting we're getting the outflow from these thunderstorms and new development as well, and that's really starting to increase the winds out here. So, is it obstructing traffic at all there, Corey, or just kind of blowing all over?
Well, you just got to be on your toes because all of a sudden one of them will blow right in front of you, and I mean, if there's a line of cars, you might be slamming on your brakes.
Right. Hey, all right, Corey, thank you so much for calling in. Again, you guys are our eyes and ears out there. So, hey, Justin, you want to mention that in the chat room for the NWS? You want to let them know that? Okay. Because we get reports from our eyes and ears out there, our listeners, and then we will pass that along to the National Weather Service, so they kind of have an idea of what these storms are doing as well. We're getting reports of 5 miles southwest of West Fargo, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And again, that's kind of what we're seeing press through South Fargo here as we're getting the outflow from these thunderstorms that are producing those 60, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And as Corey was reporting, that the new overpass going in south of 52nd Street exit, seeing some of those styrofoam blocks kind of blowing around as well. We've got Ty on the phone. Ty, you're out at Red River Fairgrounds. What are you seeing there, Ty?
Correct. Very low visibility. You can still see stoplights. I'm in the parking grounds of the fairgrounds right now, and the rain's coming down pretty hard. I have to have my wipers. You can probably hear it right now, and I'm just watching the storm go by. I took I-94 to get here, and as I was doing that, you could see the wind blowing really hard and items crossing the road, so careful about that as well. But in general, the rain's coming down hard right now. I don't see any hail yet, but it's coming down in waves, the rain is right now.
Yeah, and we're starting to see, thank you, Ty, for that report. We're starting to see more development here. And looking out the window, so if you're here in South Fargo, there's some pretty ominous looking clouds. And looking out the window, a definite scud look to the clouds. But if you're wondering if there's any tornadic activity within that, no. But long story short, we're starting to get rapid development here. And what that is, we're getting some of the outflow from these storms. And Justin, look at the uptick just within the last 2 radar scans. So within the last 5 minutes here of that cell just southwest of Fargo, which again produced the 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts according to the National Weather Service. So we're getting that front pushing into the area, and we're getting rapid increase in in thunderstorm development. Again, seeing a definite lowering of the cloud deck here outside of the studios. Nothing rotating as I look outside, but we're getting reports of, if you're traveling south on 29, be careful as you head into South Fargo there. That new bridge that they're building south of the 52nd Street exit. We're getting reports of some of the styrofoam, and these styrofoam blocks are not small. So reporting of that blowing into traffic. So please be careful of that. We're getting reports of 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, $half size hail from these storms as they press through the Fingal area. And again, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts here, 5 miles southwest of West Fargo. That's with the outflow from these storms. And these storms continue to develop. In fact, just over the last 2 radar scans, big storm within the last 10 minutes, just developing directly over Fargo. So again, we're right on the south end of that. The south end of that extends into about the Prairie Rose area and close to just north of Briarwood. And again, we're continuing to see rapid development. So that will continue over the next, let's say 35, 40 minutes before it pushes off to the northeast. So the FM area continues under a severe thunderstorm warning. As winds have really picked up, we're seeing extremely heavy rainfall. And as we said, wind gusts 70 miles an hour with this.
Yep, and just getting a couple reports of power going out in North Fargo towards downtown. Power at the WDAY station has gone off air, so they're rebooting that up, so they'll get that up and going. We'll find someone to get on that as well to see what the exact severity and how widespread that power outage is. But around downtown Fargo, North Fargo, some reports of power outages going through the area with that tick up in intensity of that storm, which is now developing more into the Prairie Rose and Frontier area. So that does look like it is continuing to extend just a bit further to the south. And as we've mentioned, we're still seeing some more development further south than that by Davenport and Walcott, heading down towards Abercrombie. A few storms starting to pop up, as well as over into the Lakes country down by Ashby, Fergus Falls, Earnhardt and Pelican Rapids, Richville. Definitely a handful, a little cluster of storms starting to intensify over there. North into northern Lakes country, let's say Monoman, Twin Valley, up towards Beltrami, some general scattered thunderstorms in that area, probably some windy conditions, some heavy downpours, but nothing too severe with those storms outside of the one warning that we're still keeping track of for the next 50 minutes. Again, that is warned for 70-mile-per-hour wind and quarter-sized hail. This is going to be around the Twin Valley to Burrup, Felton, Stockwood, Fargo, of course, Gardner, Lake Park, and Sabin. Is included in that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that's in effect for another 49 minutes. And we'll just be keeping a close eye, as that does seem to have a little more redevelopment on the south side of this, which is now taken over South Fargo.
And we're starting to get minor wind damage reports out of Prairie Rose, so far South Fargo. Again, that's from the outflow. So these rapid storms developing here over the Fargo area, producing that outflow wind out towards the Prairie Rose area, where they're getting some minor wind damage, nothing major being reported there. But if you're in the FM area, you're noticing now an uptick in extremely heavy rainfall. Also, some winds being reported around 70 miles an hour just southwest of West Fargo, and blinding rain right now. Looking out the interstate here, looking out our studio windows, blinding rain. If you're traveling on 29. Expect an uptick here in wind and some extremely heavy rain. I'm just getting a message from Jay. We're off air. So I don't know if we want to.
Yeah, it's over at WDAY. We just need to reconnect access to. Jacob said that he has the power back on through the generators at WDAY. So they're just reconnecting to us right now.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Or trying to.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're on here.
It's back on.
It's back. Okay, good. Yeah, just got a message from Jay on that. So, but again, if you're out there on 29, extremely heavy rainfall. We've got wind gusts approaching 70 miles an hour in some areas. We're getting reports of the new bridge being constructed out around just south of the 52nd Street interchange. The styrofoam blocks that were used to build that bridge have been reported blowing across the interstate, so please be careful of that if you're traveling southward. And just in general, if you have any reports for us, any hail reports, damage reports, let us know. Give us a call on our hotline, 701-271-1100. That's 701-271-1100.
Yeah, definitely. And if you do have, like we said, we lost power over at our WDAY studios, which we got back online. But if your power's gone out, give us a call. Let us know where you're located at. If your neighbor's power's gone out, do you have any tree damage, any damage reports at all? Again, that number is 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. Still watching these storms coming on through. Again, at this point, it's mostly just wind is the main concern, with some very heavy downpours anywhere from Prairie Rose all the way up to Hendrum, even up towards Halstead, that heavy rain extending. And then that has a little axis that's going through Lockhart all the way to Mentor towards the Oakley area in Minnesota, with some moderate to heavy rain in there as well. But that severe thunderstorm warning is including Hendrum, Purley, Georgetown, Oakport, Stockwood, Hawley, Hitterdale, Ullin, Twin Valley, and Gary, all in effect for the next 45 minutes, although Sabin probably going to escape without seeing anything. Stockwood will be very close. Hawley probably going to skirt just to the northwest of you, and it'll be close to the Hitterdale area as well, but we'll just keep a close eye on that as it continues to kind of get an uptick in intensity. Again, it's mostly wind and very heavy rain with this, and frequent lightning. So do be careful if you are outside.
Getting reports from Ty in West Fargo on Maine near Cheyenne of flooding beginning to happen there. We're getting reports now of 64 mile an hour wind gusts out at here in the FM area. This was out at the airport, 64 miles an hour, and again 70 mile an hour winds just outside of West Fargo as well. And winds generally between about 60-70 miles an hour. Again, severe thunderstorm warning, if you're just joining us, continues for the FM area here through 7:30. Line of storms rapidly developing and moving through the FM area, and again, these are continuing to develop southward. So another individual cell just outside of the Comstock area, you're about to get hit pretty hard with this. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning continues east, or is extended eastward. Dilworth, you're getting hit right now with some very strong winds as well. Again, it looked like we were just going to get clipped in the Fargo area, and we are. We're getting clipped. It's even worse to our north. Areas up around Georgetown getting just hammered. Argusville hammered. They'll probably wind up with about 1 to 3 inches of rain out of this before all is said and done.
And we are getting another phone call on the line there. And if you want to give us a call, 701-271-1100, give us any report, anything you're seeing. We can relay some of that information onto the National Weather Service. We're going to introduce Darren. He's just south of town. Darren, what are you seeing out there?
Well, I happen to be the mayor of Comstock. I'm heading home right now, and there was I was just turning off 81 by the Wild Rice Bar, and there's like a mile of power lines that are just laying in the farmer's field.
A line of
and
what?
I can see that a line of power lines.
Oh,
telephone poles. There's like a whole mile worth of snapped off. Some of them are just snapped off halfway.
Where did you say you were located at?
On Highway 81 near the Wild Rice Bar, the Wild Rice River and the Wild Rice Bar. So it's from County Road 14 south to County Road 16. That mile stretch on Highway 81, there's about a whole mile worth of telephone poles is snapped off.
And that's near Horace, you said?
No, near the Wild Rice Bar.
Okay, all right.
On Highway 81.
Okay. All right, Justin, you got that? Thank you, buddy.
Yep, I just got that relayed.
Okay. And we appreciate that because we pass these storm reports off to the National Weather Service so they can get an idea of estimate how strong these winds are as they press through the area. So appreciate your storm report and stay safe out there, Darren. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Goodbye.
All right, you bet. And again, if you have any storm reports for us, let us know. We'll pass those all along to the National Weather Service, 701-271-1100. Boy, I'll tell you what, to knock those power poles down, you're looking at least 70 mile an hour wind gusts there for sure.
Yeah, that's a strong wind gust to knock down about a mile of poles, even if they're not the healthiest of poles, it still takes a good amount to get those knocked down. So still some pretty windy conditions out there. Again, that's going through kind of just exiting West Fargo. Fargo is right in the middle of it. Dilworth, you'll be seeing the next little bit of this tail end of the storm, but the worst of it again is just to our north. That's in Oakport, up towards Brooktree Park and Georgetown. Just a wall of just torrential downpour right now associated with all that wind. So it's really just whipping it around. Visibility is probably getting knocked down to probably near zero. It'll be very difficult to drive through that. You'll probably be crawling at about 10 miles an hour. And do keep in mind that with this slow moving storm and these high rainfall totals, with the intensity of how fast this rain is coming down, there are going to be areas where that water is going to collect. Remember, turn around, don't drown, don't drive through it. Definitely could flood your vehicle if you're on a lower profile car. So just keep that in mind.
And Carrie,
I think
Carrie is on the line here, I believe, with the report of where are you at, Carrie?
I'm in the Buena Vista Trailer Court. I think it's north of Maine, over by Max Hardware.
Okay. And what are you seeing?
And well, it's we had a big, huge gust about 65. I'm actually got my head out the door, and the rain is somewhat let up, but it is cold and windy and stuff. Thank goodness we didn't have any hail, but the streets are kind of flooded out here.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Carrie, for the report. Appreciate it. And yeah, thankfully, as you said, no hail with that. And Justin, I don't know if you're taking a look at radar. I'm sure I know you are. Did you see that? Just
Yes,
north
I
of
did.
between Fargo and Dilworth, we're getting rotation being located, notified on radar at that's already racing now just north of the Dilworth area. Extremely rapid intensification of this storm. I would not be surprised to see rotation with this just to the north of the Dilworth area. This is, again, these storms can uptick so quick. It's such an unstable environment out there. But areas just north of Dilworth, we're seeing an extreme rapid intensification of this storm with possible rotation in this as well.
Yeah, definitely going to be, at least at this moment, very likelihood of some large hail being associated with that little pocket. Again, if you are in Dilworth or in the area, that's 1.5 miles due north of the center of town. And that storm is ticking a little bit to the east-northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So this is going to be tracking just north of Glendon. So it's going to be kind of going through open country, thankfully, but definitely a mean little hail shaft associated with that. So we'll be watching that very closely, but thankfully it doesn't look like it's going to be tracking over any towns. But if you are living just north of Dilsworth and Glendon, keep that in mind that you could be having some hail coming your way if you live kind of out in the country, out in that area.
Right. And we're looking at the worst of this now pressing through the FM area, but areas just east of the river here, again, just north of Dilworth. Like you said, thankfully, this is an open country, but very strong. Man, I mean, this is a very intense cell just north of Dilworth. Unfortunately, this is probably producing, looks like it's producing quite a bit of hail with this and damaging winds. So if you're listening around the Dilworth area, and again, it's just north of town, racing northeastward at about 45 miles an hour. And again, mainly open country, but still areas just north of Dilworth really getting hit on the chin pretty hard right now. If you're on 29 between Fargo and, let's say, Argusville, still getting hit pretty hard. It's starting to improve a little bit now towards Argusville, but this stretches up north towards, almost up towards Hillsborough area, where things start to improve north of there. But all in all, the worst of this now racing east of the river. Still another line back just to the west of West Fargo. That's diminishing right now. If you're looking out in West Fargo and you're looking westward, skies are starting to lightening up a bit. The rain and the wind here in the FM area has really let up. But this is now all pressing northeastward onto the other side of the river there into west central and northwestern Minnesota. So please be careful. If you're in and around the Dilworth area and just north of Dilworth into open country, it's really looking bad there in the areas of Clay County here over the next, especially north of 94 there in Clay County, looking pretty bad.
Yeah, we are getting a couple of reports that were coming in just north of Dilworth, kind of on the outskirt of that main hail shaft, but up to about nickel-sized hail. So that's 3/4-inch hail that was falling, reported just north of Dilworth.
I'm surprised it's not bigger than that.
There very well could have been larger hail in there, but it does look like that hail shaft has weakened just a bit. But like we said, these things can rapidly intensify in between radar scans, where in one scan it was just looked like some heavy rain, and the next scan it's showing possibly 1 inch or greater diameter hail. It does look like it's backed off just a bit, but remember back to that analogy that I made a little while back ago, that these storms take in a fresh breath of air and they pulse up and then they exhale and they kind of pulse back down, and that's what that storm is doing right now. It just pulsed up. It looks like it's kind of starting to pulse back down. We'll just have to wait and see if it pulses back up as it heads kind of just south of the Felton area, north of Glendon and Stockwood. So if you are living in that area, just north of Glendon and Stockwood, in between Felton and Stockwood, that's where that little hail shaft is going to be located as it continues to work its way to the northeast. And taking a little bit of a picture from a larger field or further back to kind of get what everything's going on across our area, we're still looking at some individual storms forming in Lakes Country by the Parker Prairie area, Pelican Rapids. There's probably about 10 to 12 little cells that are just kind of going. They're not severe, but they are going to be producing some heavy rain, maybe some small hail up to pea size, and some gusty winds. Up in northwestern Minnesota, those storms are now racing into Canada. There's still a few stronger severe storms over by Red Lake and just north of Bemidji. Up in the Grand Forks area and in the Northern Valley, looking basically in the clear. Some light to moderate rain is all you're dealing with up there, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder, but the bulk of these storms, at least the severe ones, are just now exiting Cass County, heading their way towards Felton, Twin Valley, and eventually towards the Lake Park area, and they are exiting the FM Metro. Again, just going north of Dilworth and Stockwood. South of Felton is where that hail shaft was located at. And if you're going between Burrup and Georgetown, lots of very heavy rain and frequent lightning up there, stretching all the way up into the Hendrum area.
And Justin, I believe James has got a report from one of our listeners on. Was it damage report, James?
Well, they were actually, so it was Bill. He just called in. They were driving east on 94, approaching Barnesville, and he said, kind of with the rain, I would guess it just came through Fargo here, right, and the gusts of wind. I mean, it's so bad. He said, at times only about a half a block is all they were able to see. So that would be another kind of time, I think, for us to give a friendly reminder. Check out your dash, make sure that your lights are on, things of that sort, because even though the sun hasn't set, there are areas where it's a little bit darker and it's a little bit tougher to see people. So just keep driving safe if you are, and at areas, of course, if you can't see more than a few feet, you might as well just pull over, let it blow over, because it seems as though a lot of that stuff's been doing it recently. So
right. Sorry, buddy. Those storms racing now into northern Clay County on the other side of the river there. So areas around, just north of Dilworth, those storms racing northeastward now. A lot of it is in open country, but just if you're in northern Clay County, these storms racing through, expect some damaging winds. And again, there were reports just south of the FM area of power lines down. So this has the history of producing some damaging winds. And once this presses through, so we'll probably sign off here in about 10 minutes or so as these storms race out of the area. We will more than likely be back on the air later tonight, as we're expecting another line of storms similar to this. Maybe a lot of question on how much of the atmosphere remains unstable here, but my guess is we're going to see enough lull in the activity between about 7:30 and about 10 o'clock tonight that our atmosphere might remain unstable enough when the second line of storms comes through. I think the main threat with that is going to be damaging winds, and that'll be after about 10 o'clock tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just taking a look at a few things here, getting a few emails in. Oh, that looks like it's not related to to what we're doing right now. So we'll take a look at that later. But yeah, we'll be wrapping this up here fairly soon. But as Dean had mentioned, we'll be waiting for the potential for more strong and severe thunderstorms to be developing. It'll be quite interesting. 7 o'clock is when most National Weather Service offices will relaunch weather balloons. So we'll be able to get a fresh look at what the atmosphere is doing compared to what these storms have just done to the atmosphere. So we'll get a little bit of a clear image of what's going to be happening over the next couple of hours to anticipate how strong these second wave of storms are going to be and where most of them are going to be located at. But it does look like there will be that second wave that will track across most of the state down into South Dakota and then into northwestern Minnesota. That does look like it's going to be closer to the 10 o'clock hour and exist until 1 a.m., possibly extending closer to 2 a.m. Over into farther Lakes country.
Right. And if you're listening to us in Lakes country, you've kind of missed out on most of this, but rapid development and the quickness of the development of this indicates how unstable the air mass is. So areas from Barnesville, if you're traveling on 94 going towards, let's say, the cities or Alex, rapid development between Barnesville, Fergus, stretching down towards Alex, with these storms pressing quickly northeastward towards Frazee and DL, Pelican Rapids, Pelican Lake there. You'll want to definitely probably take cover here with the definite possibility of some damaging winds and hail with this as it approaches the Frazee area and basically just south of DL into Lakes country. You're really starting to see rapid development right now, and that will continue over the next hour or so as these systems press quickly to the east and northeast now at about 45 miles an hour. Right in the FM area right now, most of this activity exiting the FM area with improving conditions here through the rest of the evening. But areas of Clay County, especially northern Clay County, Felton area, really getting hit pretty hard right now with some damaging winds extending up towards eventually approaching the Twin Valley area. Some rotation just north of the Felton area, as well, moving kind of to the east and northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So this activity now starting to expand and rapidly develop in Lakes country. So areas Frazee southward towards, let's say, Dent, and continuing southward towards Fergus, and even down towards the Alex area. Rapid development on this. If you're in Lakes country, I know this is a holiday for some, so you might be out in Lakes country enjoying that extended weekend. These storms rapidly moving into your area now as well. But even though it is improving here in the FM area, these storms quickly pressing to the northeast at about 40 miles an hour. Areas around Felton, Twin Valley, you're about to get hit here within the next 30 minutes. They'll continue to race to the northeast. We'll see a break for a few hours, two and a half hours. Then we'll start to see more developing down to the southwest of the FM area as the main system kind of pulls through.
Yep, definitely. And just a couple more reports coming in around the FM metro. When those storms were pushing overhead, the airport reporting wind gusts to 64 miles per hour. There was a gust 5 miles southwest in West Fargo, 70 mile per hour wind gust. And we have another one up to 63 miles southeast of Moorhead. So West Fargo did get hit the hardest, and then just about as hard as in North Fargo, just a little bit less on those winds by a few miles per hour. Still a little bit of hail looks like possible in those storms north of the Glendon and Stockwood area between again Stockwood and Felton, maybe up to nickel-sized hail. A couple reports around pea-sized. One report of nickel-sized hail north of Dilworth. And we are still watching at that very heavy rain going through Felton right now and then heading up towards Anthony and Ada, then towards Twin Valley, as well as into the Lake Park area with some more storms that are developing further down to the south around the Fergus Falls area, Norwegian Grove, Pelican Rapids, as well as the Henning area by Battle Lake. And those extend all the way down even towards the Little Falls area, heading towards Brainerd, Minnesota. So you guys are in for it next. You will a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings outside of our area down by Sauk Center. but these storms will be developing quickly. Heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe some small hail, maybe up to about an inch in diameter, will be rolling their way through the Detroit Lakes area and most of Lakes country over these next couple hours before we kind of see that lull in the action that we've been talking about.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to sign off right now as the severe thunderstorm warning, even in Clay County, is about ready to expire here shortly. So again, if you have any damage reports that you want to pass along to us, let us know, 701-271-1100, or you can email us at weather@flagfamily.com. Again, that's weather@flagfamily.com, and then we'll pass along those reports into the National Weather Service. Just got another report in from 4 miles southeast of Moorhead of wind gusts about 70, we'll call it 68 miles an hour to be exact. 2 miles northeast of Sabin, wind gusts of 72 miles an hour. So again, that's the same complex of storms that's moving into northern Clay County with damaging winds, a good bet. And again, a secondary line of storms approaching the Frazee area. Those yet have to be set under warning, but they're strengthening rapidly. So areas from, it looks like around Dent towards Frazee, just south of DL, Pelican Rapids about ready to get skirted with those. If you're in Lakes country, probably get off the lake immediately. And yeah, I mean, if you're not already, but northern Clay County and northeastern Clay County right now about to get hit pretty hard with some damaging winds is going to be the main threat with that. And those will press northward towards the Twin Valley area, towards Gary, walk on, expected to get hit with those pretty hard too. So, but right now the heaviest stretching from about, and again, on the east side of the river in Minnesota, from about, let's see here, from Ada, getting hit pretty hard right now, stretching down towards Felton, and points just south and into open country just south of Felton as well. And again, they're racing northeastward now pretty quickly at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. So for Justin Storm and myself, meteorologist Dean Wysocki, we want to thank you for tuning in and joining us with our wall-to-wall severe weather coverage. Once again, if you have any storm reports, you can email those to us, weather@flagfamily.com, and we can pass those along to the National Weather Service to kind of get them kind of an idea of what has pressed through the area. We're getting reports now. You know what? We're going to stay on the air here for a little bit longer. Justin, we're getting reports of a rotating wall cloud 3 miles west-southwest of Butler, Minnesota. So we'll keep on the air just to make sure that this activity doesn't get warned. This is from confirmed storm spotter there. We're getting the reports from 1 mile northeast of Prairie Rose. That's just south of the FM area. Shingles blown off of roofs and some pretty decent sized branches blown down. Let's see here.
A little bit of flooding on some bridges heading west on I-94. Wasn't able to get the name of that bridge. So if you do give us call in reports on bridges, could you please let us know what the name of those bridges are? But it was west on I-94. A couple of those bridges were flooding over, and it looks like people were still driving through that flooded water. So remember, try and not drive through the flooded water. I know you might think it's safe, and sometimes it may be, but you never know how deep that water really is, and it really doesn't take a lot of water to stall out small vehicles. As well, make sure those headlights are on. Even if there is some sunlight out there, if you're getting in on some very heavy rain, you probably can't see any more than 5 or 10 feet in front of you at times. And those lights will help let someone know that there's someone directly in front of them.
Right. And let's see what else we have here. Just checking the chat room from the National Weather Service. And we are looking at nothing new here, but definitely some in northern Clay County, and most of this is in open country, but there's going to be some damaging winds here within the next 15 minutes. And again, most of this is in open country, but again, areas around Ulen, you're about ready to get hit pretty good there. Pressing through areas around Felton, again, numerous reports of damaging winds. We're getting some reports of rotation. Let's say about 10 miles or so northeast of Stockwood, it looks like. Again, mainly open country. But still, again, this is pressing quickly to the northeast. So northeastern parts of Clay County, even in open country, you are under the gun here. There has been reports of possible rotation. No tornado warning has been issued with that, but definitely the damaging wind threat of 70 miles an hour or greater is a definite possibility with that.
Yeah, definitely. And you've been listening to our severe weather coverage live right here from the SkyWatch Weather Center in Fargo on WZFG AM 1100 The Flag, Dilworth, Fargo, and Moorhead, and WDAY AM 970 Fargo, Moorhead. And a hello to all of our listeners watching us live at am1100theflag.com and wdayradionow.com as well. And Dean, I don't know if you had mentioned this. I was reading a couple other reports there for a moment, but it does look like they did extend that severe thunderstorm warning well into Lakes Country from Hitterdale, Ulen, all the way through White Earth out towards Park Rapids. And that is in effect for another 51 minutes. Main concern with these storms would be wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour and then quarter-sized hail. And we were getting a couple reports of around the FM metro, mostly just north, of some reports of nickel and quarter-sized hail as well.
Right. Hail hasn't been the main threat with this, but the damaging winds have. Again, numerous reports of, as you were saying, some power poles down. I believe it was around the Horace area, wasn't it? Off Highway 81 there. And some wind report damage just outside of Prairie Rose. Again, just south of the FM area, of shingles blown off of the roofs and medium-sized branches blown away. Reports of the new bridge construction just south of the 52nd on 29, the 52nd Street exit. The new bridge being constructed there, of the styrofoam blocks they have being blown away there. But again, in the FM area, conditions have improved quite a bit. In fact, the rain has stopped. Winds are pretty darn light here at the studio. We're starting to see clearing skies come in from the west. So we will see a lull in this activity until about 10 o'clock tonight, when we're going to see another round of storms. Right now, the heaviest part of this of these storms stretching from Felton to just outside of Ulen in northeastern parts of Clay County. You're about ready to get hit on the chin with this, with some damaging winds. Reports earlier of some rotation just to the southwest of, I believe it's Ulen, and moving northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So if you're in those areas, again, no tornado warning being issued right now, but definite rotation there. And these storms packing quite a punch in terms of at least damaging winds at the least, and maybe some nickel-size hail. Again, enough to do a little damage, but not considered too bad. Any hail's too bad, though, if you've got your car outside. But other than that, most of this activity pressing northeast of the FM area, and looks like conditions will improve. Again, if you are out in the areas of northeastern Clay County, you have the worst of this is right at your doorstep here, and you'll see winds picking up here between about, let's say, 60 to 65, maybe 70 miles an hour as these storms race to the northeast. I guess the good news is, as these storms pass through, getting some cooler weather, at least briefly, to kind of punch into the area before the main system pulls through later tonight. And again, so we're going to see a break now between now and about 10 o'clock, and then we're expecting another round of storms pushing through here after that. So with that being said, for myself, Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, Meteorologist Justin Storm, we want to thank every one of you for tuning in and letting us provide you with severe weather coverage. Again, you might want to be kind of keeping an ear to the radio here about 10 o'clock tonight, as we're expecting another round of storms coming through. That looks to be mainly a wind threat, and we'll see how those develop because the atmosphere might be scrubbed over after these storms, but we'll wait and see what happens here over the next few hours and how those develop off to our southwest. We've got Jacob just messaged me here. He's got a caller, wants to know what's going to happen over the next few hours weather-wise. I guess it depends where he's at. I'm assuming he's probably here in the FM area. And if that's the case, again, we'll see a break now with this activity moving through and moving northeastward. Again, if you are in Lakes Country, I'm going to take a look at radar here real quick. Areas around Frazee, DL, getting hit right now with some heavy rain. In fact, they were just put under a severe thunderstorm warning there. So areas out around DL, Frazee, Pelican Lake area, Pelican Rapids, severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued for your area. And that will go through 8 o'clock tonight. And let's take a look at that new warning that just came through. Main threat, again, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts with that. Some of the cities and towns in the path of this include Callaway, Westbury, Faith, Frazee, Monoman. And again, those storms moving rapidly to the east at about 55 miles an hour. So they're increasing in forward momentum, which means even a bigger threat for damaging winds. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning will go over eastern Clay, Hubbard, northern Wadena, Norman, southeastern Polk, northern Ottertail, southwestern Beltrami, Monoman, Becker, and Clearwater counties again. And that severe thunderstorm warning goes until where I lost this here. I believe it was 8:30. Yeah, no, till 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock for those areas. So Lakes Country, you're getting hit right now. And again, the main threat with this is going to be damaging winds. Could see some hail with that, but some of those areas getting hit pretty hard as those storms continue to move east of the river. We'll see improving conditions here in the FM area, and anywhere east of the river now looks pretty clear. Areas west of the river, areas east of the river into Lakes Country getting hit pretty hard right now, and that will continue to be the case here over the next hour before things start to quiet down. We'll see a break for a couple hours, and more storms expected to redevelop after 10 o'clock tonight. If they are severe, rest assured we will be here on the air providing severe weather coverage. So Dustin, thank you very much. Or Justin, I should say, man.
Every day.
Every day. I hear you, buddy.
Hey, before we sign off, I want to answer a couple of questions. Got a few messages in from Dan. He was wondering if high clouds are moving in one direction and lower clouds are moving in an opposite direction, is that a sign of rotation for tornadoes? So what you're looking at are lower clouds moving in one way, the clouds above it moving in the opposite way. Generally, what you're looking at is the wind shear of the environment, not necessarily the formation of a tornado. Now, if this is all in one single lowering of the clouds that they're going in different directions, that's rotation. But if they're different level clouds, say lower level and mid-level, you're just seeing the wind flow at different levels of the atmosphere. That's what gets these storms to remain organized and helps feed the rotation for the lowering in the clouds. So if they're at different levels, not necessarily. If it's at the same level of cloud and it looks like it is just spinning, that would be the sign of a tornado. And then there was one more from Brian. He just wanted to comment on how accurate the LRC forecast has been. Says he really enjoys listening to us on here and he appreciates the severe weather coverage. And, this day was pegged on the LRC to the day. And here we are with severe weather potential across the area into the overnight hours.
I'm telling you, the LRC has been an excellent forecasting tool. And I'll tell you what, it's been absolutely fantastic. We're going to stay on here a little bit longer. Remember, we were talking about that rotation out into Lakes Country. So the National Weather Service just issued a tornado warning, radar indicated, for Monoman and Norman County until 8 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warning with a lot of rotation over Sayre, actually 32 miles northeast of DL, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So that's actually just outside of our coverage area. But if you are in or around the DL area or 32 miles northwest of DL, I'm going to take a look at radar here and see what's going on there. I see. Yeah. So that's northern Clay or northeastern Clay County, that extreme northeastern part of the county, and then extending over into areas of Monoman and Norman County under the gun here till 8 o'clock with a lot of rotation on radar reported with that. And so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Severe thunderstorm warning for the FM area has been canceled, but it does continue off to the east into Lakes Country, Becker, Clay, Norman County till 7:30. Tornado warning just issued for Monoman and Norman County until 8 o'clock. Again, a lot of rotation out in that area. 32 miles northwest of DL, moving east at about 40 miles an hour. So Lakes Country getting hit with the hardest part of this. And then the FM area here pretty much in the clear. And we'll see a break, as we said, for the next couple of hours before more redevelopment expected after 10 o'clock. Now we're going to sign off and return you to regular programming. So for Justin and myself, we want to thank you for listening to our severe weather coverage. Again, keep it tuned here later this evening for more updates throughout the evening. But now we'll return you to regular programming. Have a good night.
You've been listening to special live coverage from the Flag. We now return you to regular programming.
Because Alabama's smart. The question is, why all this dark money? We now have front groups out of Texas. Front groups out of Texas who set up a group called Alabama Conservative Christians, spending millions. This group, in fact, got most of its money, a lot of it anyway, from a Texas PAC posing as Alabama Christian organization. Together, they gave almost $15 million in other PACs supporting Katie Britt to run smear ads against Mo Brooks and to build her up as some kind of a conservative. Richard Shelby, $5.5 million associated with his efforts. Mitch McConnell, over $2 million associated with his efforts. Money coming out of New York. Money coming out of Arkansas. Massive amounts of money. What is Alabama Christian Conservative PAC? It's a phony PAC in my view. Defend America PAC. Sponsored by Richard Shelby. $5.5 million transferred to Defend America PAC. $3 million transferred in from Alabama's Future PAC. $2 million from Francisco Collazo, according to this article, chairman and founder of COLSA, a Huntsville-based engineering and service support company. That's an awful lot. Alabama Rhino PAC. FEC records show Alabama Christian Conservatives PAC accounted for 99.9% of all the money in the Alabama Rhinos PAC bank account. You know, to do hits on Mo. Both Alabama Christian Conservatives PAC and Alabama Rhino PAC, according to this